Good evening. My name is Brian Grzymkowski. I'm one of the Assistant Directors of Graduate Admissions here at William Paterson University, joined by my colleague Christina Aiello, who's also one of our Assistant Directors here. We want to take a moment to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us for our webinar today. I know the summer is a particularly busy time of year, so we thank you for joining us. It's our hope that this is a very convenient and easy way for you to get a lot of helpful information about the registration process here at William Paterson University for our upcoming fall semester in a relatively short amount of time, so you can get back to all the things you might need to be doing this evening. So we'll jump right into the presentation. As we go through, I want you to know that you can type any questions that you might have in the chat box there. My colleague Christina is going to be fielding questions as they come in. Certainly it's our hope that we're going to answer most of the questions that you might have and provide you with a lot of information as we go through our PowerPoint presentation. But we do understand that some of you may need to leave early for one reason or another. We may have some students that join us a little bit late. So it's our hope that having her there answering questions as well is a helpful way to go about this. And certainly otherwise, I want to make sure you know we are going to make this PowerPoint presentation available to you if that would be of benefit, and also know that we always make our presentations available on our YouTube channel, usually about a week after the event takes place, and that'll be emailed to you. So that should allow you to be hands-free. You can put down any pens, paper, etc., and just take in some of this information. And again, if you haven't registered yet, I would encourage you to do so, and it's our hope by the end of this that you'll feel very comfortable and confident doing so, particularly if this is your first time registering for courses at William Paterson, and if it's the first time in a while that you've registered for courses online. So with that being said, we'll jump right into it. This is an aerial view of our campus. For those who aren't familiar or perhaps haven't been on campus or haven't been in a while, the pond that's right here towards the bottom is right on Pompton Road, and you'll see that there's a large parking lot here where a number of our students park for their courses that are here on our main campus. You'll see there's additional parking along the left side here where you'll see some of our solar panels. That's another primary student lot, which is right adjacent to our University Commons, our University Center right here. And then there's more parking towards the back of campus. Again, you'll see the solar panels kind of give it away there. Our office and a number of the departments that may be of interest to you and be helpful for you are located right over here in Morrison Hall, this brick building here. We've got our Office of Student Enrollment Services located here, undergraduate admissions, graduate admissions, also our financial aid office, as well as the registrar. So just wanted to point out some of the important locations here on our main campus. We also have our Valley Road campus, which is not pictured, as well as the Power Art Studio and some other buildings that are off campus and just down the road. So again, this is just so you can kind of get a view of the campus and a feel for it from an aerial view. We were founded in 1855 as a normal college. We're located in Wayne, New Jersey. Again, for those that might be coming out of state or from another country, that leaves us around a half an hour away from New York City. We do have bus service that leaves right from outside of the Commons there, close to the large parking lot that's there, that does go to New York Port Authority. So there is easy access into the city if that's something that's important to you and you want to take advantage of. We have over 1,400 graduate students, over 30 master's level programs, and then also offer a range of initial certification, endorsement, as well as certificate programs here at William Paterson. This is an image of a part of the University Commons that I referenced before. In the large building on the left-hand side is where we have our ballrooms for anyone who may have attended one of our open house events. They're frequently held there on campus. We also have a number of dining options here, as well as the school bookstore. This would be the building where you would proceed to get a photo ID if you haven't already done so. And just a plug so you're aware, we are going to be having an online orientation webinar taking place on August 16th. So if you haven't had a chance to take advantage of one of our online orientations that have gone on over the summer, that's when the next one is scheduled for, and we'll cover things like getting your parking pass, getting your photo ID, some other things that would be helpful for you. So certainly keep that in the back of your mind. You should have received an email. If you haven't, you will shortly, and again would encourage you to take advantage of that opportunity as well to get yourself prepared for the start of classes. So obviously, the main reason that you're here, how do you register for courses? The first thing that I think is important for you to be familiar with is our primary portal online for students and for employees and faculty as well as grad assistants is called WP Connect. You would go to the William Paterson University website, which is www.wpunj.edu. You would log in, and just so you are familiar with the credentials and how they work here, you should have received a welcome packet by email in the mail by post or both. That would include your information about your WP email address, about your login credentials, which in this case is your WPU email address minus the @student.wpunj.edu portion of it. And then your password is your student ID, which here begins with an 855 number. You would review and acknowledge the university alcohol and drug policy, and then you would confirm your PIN, which typically is the 6-digit date of birth. So we gave an example of June 12, 1990, so that individual's PIN would be 061290. And then if you try that and find you have any issues, sort of the backup for some student records is the last 6 digits of your student ID number, that 855 number. So we showed an example here where the 855 is left off, and then the PIN would just be 123456. You complete the security question, provide an answer, and then you're able to access WP Connect, and you have your information, your login credentials moving forward. And you'll see that, and we'll look at a number of screenshots that'll walk you through some of this. So I want to make sure that you're aware that you're going to get a visual of it as well, so you can see what it looks like when you're actually logged in to WP Connect. But there is a list of all available courses for any particular term available through WP Connect. You would log in with your credentials. Again, that's your WPU email address minus the @student.wpunj.edu, and then the password, which is your 855 number. You would click on the student tab, which I'll show you in a second. You'd click look up course offerings. You would select the term, in this case it's fall 2016, and then you would click submit. You'll see there's an advanced search feature. There's the opportunity to filter. Obviously we would encourage you to filter specifically for grad level courses if you're taking grad level courses, but we will have some students who are taking courses as a non-degree grad student who might be taking some undergrad courses to fulfill some requirements that they might have for one reason or another. So for some of you, you may want to include the undergrad or filter just for undergrad, and then you would click section search. So what does that look like? Here is the screen that you would have if you had logged into WP Connect, as we indicated before. You can see that you can filter by subject. So if you are pursuing an MFA here in art, obviously you would select Art Studio there. If you were pursuing a degree in English, you would filter by English courses. You'll see that there's a number of different ways to filter. Obviously, as I mentioned before, if you're looking for grad courses, you would want to filter for graduate, leave out the rather healthy list of undergrad courses we have offered here, and then you would click section search there, and that would pull up the results of what is available for the upcoming fall semester based on your program of interest. So here are a couple codes that you may come up across, and we just want to make sure you're familiar with them, you know what they mean. Some are very self-explanatory, some a bit less so. So we want to touch upon some of these. As you're looking for courses, you might see NR. NR means not allowed for registration, and that usually means that the enrollment period isn't open for that class. You may have tried to log on before registration is officially open for your particular term, for the upcoming term. They may not have posted all the information or gotten the course ready yet at that time. If, again, you're a little bit early, you're right on the front end. So if you encounter that, there's always a reason for it, but we just want to make sure that you're familiar. There's also SR, which is a student restriction. That oftentimes means you have some type of hold. There could be a student status or something else that prevents you from being able to register for that course. And we'll delve into that a little bit later. But just know that there are instances where you might not be able to register for a particular course. And again, there's usually a good reason for it, and we'll talk about some of the most common ones you might encounter in a little bit. C means that the class is closed, usually means that the course is full, or it could mean that they needed to change the course to another section for one reason or another. But there is a wait waitlist for most of our courses here, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Online, pretty self-explanatory, but we do have courses that are strictly online using technology such as Blackboard. They do not meet in person in a classroom setting. For some of you, you may be seeking out online courses. For some, your program may offer a number of them. Some may be entirely online, but there are also some that don't include online courses. So it depends on your preference as well as the program and the degree that you are pursuing. We have hybrid courses, which are a blend of online technology and in-person class meetings, the more traditional setting that you might think of. CRN is the course registration number. That number is used for registration purposes, and that's one of several ways to look up a particular class that you might be trying to find. And then there's course number and section. So keep in mind that there may be several sections of the same course name, and we'll look into some of that in just a moment as well. This is a view, kind of a good screen grab of what it would look like if you're looking for one particular course. After you did a search, in this case for MBA courses on the graduate level, this would be a sample of what the returned results would be. You'll see on the left-hand side, there's a checkbox there under Select. In this case, this individual has chosen Organizational Behavior and Communication as a possible course that they may add to their course list. We'll go over what all of these different codes mean, but as you look, you can see the CRN is there, the subject is there, the course number, the section number, some information about the day of the week that the courses meet, the time, the name of the course, how many credits the course is, and then a lot of information about the capacity for the course. And again, we'll look into that in just a little bit. So again, some of the things that you just saw on that prior screen. First, and most of it's pretty self-explanatory, but for days of the week, M is Monday, T is Tuesday, W is Wednesday, R is Thursday, F is Friday, and S is Saturday. TBA, you may see under time. That's oftentimes because it's an online course. Some of the information in terms of the time that the courses are going to be meeting happen a bit later through the process versus the traditional in-classroom settings. CAP is the maximum course capacity, the number of students that can take the course and be in the course. ACT is the actual current number of students registered for that particular course. REM is how many seats are remaining for the course. WLCAP is the waitlist capacity. WLACT is waitlist, the actual spots. WLREM is waitlist spots remaining, and we'll go over the waitlist in a little bit more detail in just a little bit. The instructor is the name of the professor who's going to be teaching the course, and then the date shows the range, the first day of classes and the last day of classes for the term, in this case fall 2016. Location is where the course is going to be held, whether it's here on our main campus, whether it's on the Valley Road campus, or one of our other buildings, or if it's online. And you would select that checkbox on the left next to the course that you're interested in registering for. You would click Register on the bottom of the page. You'd then be prompted to enter your alternate PIN, which again is your 6-digit date of birth, or if you find an issue with that, the 855 number, your student ID minus the 855. You would review and acknowledge the financial responsibilities that are associated with registering for the course and click OK, and then that should be added to your course list, provided that you don't have a student restriction or another hold that might prevent you from registering for the course, or if there's a prerequisite that's required in order to be able to take the course that you haven't fulfilled. And we'll talk about some of that in a little bit as well. The add drop page, and we're going to talk a little bit about, okay, obviously things change. You may talk to a faculty member and realize, oops, I registered for the wrong course. You may find that, oh, my schedule changed, I now can't take a course on a Tuesday, I need to switch because of your job or your family or whatever might cause a change. First thing that you need to keep in mind, if you have registered for a course, let's say 2 or 3 in this case, you can drop 1 or 2 courses without an issue as long as it does not drop you down to 0 credits. As a student, you are not able to drop down to 0 credits unless you fill out a leave of absence form or a withdrawal request if you intend to leave the university entirely. Again, things change, plans change, things pop up unexpectedly, so you can drop 1 or more of your courses as long as it doesn't drop you down to 0 credits quite easily. If it's going to drop you down to 0 credits, that's where the registrar's office needs to get involved, and that's where you have to fill out either the leave of absence form if you're going to be gone for a semester or a year for reasons beyond your control, or if you've decided I'm not going to pursue the graduate degree at William Paterson University, that would be where you'd submit the withdrawal form. Once they're processed, the registrar's office would drop you from your courses, and then you would be all set in that regard. But if you've registered for 2 classes, you say, oops, I registered for one that I shouldn't have, you could simply go. You'll see under your status, you'll see the courses that you're registered for. It will say web registered next to it, which you'll see in a moment in the next screen. Under the action drop-down menu, you would select web dropped, and then you would simply click submit, and that would take care of that. You can, at any given time, see all of the courses that you're currently registered for under WP Connect, the student tab, and then active registration. So if you want to see a snapshot of what classes you're registered for, just want to double check and make sure, okay, I am indeed registered for classes that I want to be, that would be the screen where you do it. You can also view billing and payment information on WP Connect, also under the Student tab. Just click Billing and Payment, and that will connect you to TouchNet, which is our online bill payment system that we have here at William Paterson University. Now, if you do have any very specific questions about your tuition bill, about payment, I would encourage you to contact the Office of Student Enrollment Services. We'll show their contact information at the end on the last slide. But certainly feel free anytime to come by. Right now we're operating on our summer hours. That's true of most of the offices here on campus. So we're open Monday through Thursday from 8 to 5:15, and that runs through the second week of August, through I believe the 19th, and then we'll return to our regular hours, which are Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. So just keep that in mind. We're all located in Morrison Hall, as I mentioned earlier. The Office of Student Enrollment Services is, their counter is right when you walk in the front door. Graduate admissions is right there, first door on your right-hand side. There's also financial aid, as I mentioned, as well as the registrar's office and undergraduate admissions. So it's really a good place if you have a question to come and stop by, and we'll make sure that if we can't answer it, we put you in contact with the appropriate department who can, and then the program directors are obviously a wonderful resource as well. So here's the screen that I was mentioning before. You can see web registered is the status for this particular course, the Management, Process, and Organizational Theory. So you are currently registered for this course. And under Action, right there, that drop-down menu, you have the option of selecting Web Dropped. If you select Web Dropped and then click Submit Changes, you would be dropped from this course. And again, if you register for 3 classes and you wanted to drop this one, it's very seamless to do so. Non-degree status. Many of you, or some of you, will be here for the fall as a non-degree student. And for those who aren't familiar, a non-degree student is someone who can take up to 9 graduate credits or 30 undergraduate credits without being matriculated into a program. There is an application process associated with that, but it allows individuals to take grad level courses without matriculating into a program. Now, if you decide for one reason or another or feel the need to try and proceed beyond those limits, you would either need to get accepted into a matriculated program or get specific permission from the program director for that program to be able to continue taking courses as a non-degree student. After that point, you do have to still submit an application just as you would for any other program. In order to matriculate, you would need to fulfill all of the application requirements, submit all of the documents required, and then you'd have to be accepted into the program. It's very important to note that the completion of courses as a non-degree student does not guarantee you acceptance into a graduate program here at William Paterson. And it's also important to note that not all courses or programs are available for non-degree students. But sometimes, you may not have, you may decide, you know what, I'm going to start grad courses now. I want to get the jump on things and start in the fall, but I just do not have the time to take the GRE or the MAT or whatever the case may be. It's a much quicker application process. It's a chance to get started, take some courses with the hope that you'll obviously matriculate into a program in a later term. Waitlist. As I mentioned before, I want to talk about this a little bit. The waitlist is open after the course is officially full. So when you see that there are no spaces available, the waitlist will become active. There are 5 spots available on the waitlist for a course. Very, very important to note, and something that I can't stress enough. Just as I said before, if you haven't accessed WP Connect, I would recommend this evening or perhaps over this weekend, you take some time to go through and familiarize yourself with it. It is the primary online portal for our students. Most all of the menus, forms, and other things that would be helpful for you are housed here. So it's a very quick and easy way to access a lot of very important information for your student account. But similarly, if you haven't already taken the time to log into your WPU student email address, I would encourage you to do so, because any important communication from the university is going to be sent to you at this email address, not your preferred personal email address, not your Hotmail account, your Gmail account, any others that you might use. So I can't stress enough. You should get in the habit of trying to check this email address at least a couple times per week so you don't miss any important information about tuition or payments, about registration for courses, and in this case, as you can see, about the waitlist. You will be notified at your student.wpunj.edu email address that you've been placed on the wait list and when a space becomes available. And you can see right there on the screen you will have 48 hours to register for that course before the seat is made available to the next student on the wait list. So obviously we'd hate to see you not check your email, not realize that you had been pulled off the wait list and had that opportunity and then have it go to another student. So please get in the habit. You don't necessarily have to have the emails pushed to your smartphone, but it would definitely be in your best interest to check it at least a couple times per week so you don't miss any important emails from William Paterson. Why can't I register? It goes without saying that there are some reasons why you might not be able to register for a course, but we can understand the frustration when you get excited for the prospect of registering for a course and then get an error message that pops up and you're oftentimes not sure how to proceed, who to contact. So we're going to talk about just a couple of the most common ones. In this case, you could see the status is approval by academic chair for a student that tried to register for Diagnostic Practicum 2. In this case, there was probably a prerequisite associated with the course that this individual student did not fulfill before trying to register for the course. So in order to move forward and take this course, this student would either have to take that prerequisite and not take this course right now, or reach out to the academic chair, the program chair for the department, and get specific permission in order to be able to register. They would have the authorization to turn to you and say, yes, I am able and willing to waive that requirement for you, or no, I'm not able to waive that requirement for you. And you can see on the bottom, there's a registration ad error. You have not completed the prerequisite for this course. In this case, it was a bio course, General Anatomy and Physiology. So you have the option then to go and take this undergraduate course, or again, to get approval by the academic chair to bypass that for one reason or another. Here's another example, student restriction, which we talked about before. You could see you may not add or drop classes due to holds on your record. And this was just a test, so you can see on the bottom the reason is just test webinar, but it might say something like, a financial payment. You may have not made a tuition payment in the past. There could be an immunization hold on your account because you didn't submit one of the immunization documents that were required. So there are a number of different potential holds, and each one is generally linked to a different department. So if you are unsure how to proceed, I would recommend either contacting our office and we can point you in the right direction, or perhaps more appropriately contact the Office of Student Enrollment Services. They are very closely linked to all of our departments here on campus, and they can let you know which office you need to contact in order to take the steps necessary to remove that hold. And obviously, once that hold is lifted, you would then be able to register for the course of interest. WPUNJ email address, which I know I talked about at length and why it is important. Again, we don't want you to miss anything regarding registration, billing, or any other academic matters on campus. You can see some information on how to access it. Again, it's through WP Connect. You would go to the WPU website, log into WP Connect. Your username as it appears in your email address, which is provided in the welcome packet that I referenced earlier. So we have an example here. This student is Smith B. It's usually your last name followed by the first initial of your first name. So Smith B at student.wpunj.edu. The username would be Smith B. The password is the 855 number, your student ID number. If you have a very commonplace last name, or just by chance we've had a number of students in the past who've shared your last name, there may be a number that follows Smith B. It may be Smith B 25, for example, and that's just so you're aware. You click Login and then click the Email tab to access your student email account. Payment options. I'm not going to talk too heavily about this because, again, I would urge you, if you do have questions about payment, to contact the Office of Student Enrollment Services. They would be able to field any specific questions you may have, but we do accept cash payments that can be made at the Student Enrollment Services counter there. Check or money order payments can be mailed or dropped off in person. You can also make payments through internet check or e-check, as well as all major credit cards that you can see listed there. We do have a tuition installment plan, a tip plan that breaks it up into multiple payments during the course of a semester. And if you are interested in a tip plan and aren't currently enrolled, again, I would recommend you contact the Office of Student Enrollment Services, and we'll be showing their information in the next slide. Important contacts. As I mentioned before, can't stress enough, if you are going to be in the area, if you are going to find yourself on campus, certainly feel free to stop by. We can answer any questions that you might have. If you have any documents you need to drop off, we can take them or send you to the appropriate department where you could drop them off. You could see our information is there, as well as our primary email address, which is graduate@wpunj.edu. There's also the Office of Student Enrollment Services. As I referenced, you can see their contact information is there, and their email is studentservices@wpunj.edu, and then contact information for our registrar's office as well. Certainly feel free to stop by Morrison Hall. Again, I know I mentioned the hours before, but I will one last time. Right now, we're open Monday through Thursday from 8 to 5:15, and that will change after we get into late August and we switch back to our regular hours, which are Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. So I hope this webinar was helpful for you. I know we covered a lot of ground, but Christina has been fielding your questions as they come in. We are going to stick around for a couple minutes. If you do think of any other questions, feel free to type them in the chat box. And again, we are going to make this PowerPoint presentation available to you if that would be helpful. And you should be receiving an email within the next week that will include the link to our YouTube channel. And we're going to make this presentation available. So if you joined us a little bit late, you missed a couple slides. If you had to step away from the computer for a couple minutes, your phone, tablet, whatever the case may be, we want to make sure that this is available to you. Or if you just want to refer back when you're actually pulling up the screen to register for classes later this evening or over the weekend if you haven't already done so. So for all of us here at William Paterson University in the Graduate Admissions Office, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your busy schedule in the summer. We're very much looking forward to welcoming you on campus in the fall. And again, thank you so much and have a wonderful evening. Take care.